Alright, live from under the Studebaker. Got the pan off, and surprisingly it looks really good under there. I figured it'd be all sorts of yucky, but it's not. This is probably the first engine of this vintage I've pulled the pan off, and it's not horribly disgusting. So someone was running detergent oil in it. Oil pan, on the other hand, not so good. Fuel pump, I got a rebuild kit coming for that, so we'll get that off. Other than that, that's probably all we're going to do to the engine. Hopefully it runs good. Got the brake lines in, brake hoses are in. That's the front suspension of a 37 Studebaker. From what I gather, that's the first year of independent front suspension for Studebaker. Kind of a unique system. Got a buggy spring in there that goes all the way across. And it's got like a lower control arm that's made out of some sheet metal and a bushing. And it goes to the spindle, and it's got this upper control arm that kind of looks like a drive shaft, but it's not. Kind of cool. It's got tube shocks on it. That's kind of nice. And they're all shot. But the brake lines are in. All the way across, all the way down. I got my tie rod ends ordered because they are bad. This one here is about ready to fall out. Probably couldn't see that because I couldn't hold the camera still. The wiring in this car is scary, but we'll leave it. I got all the linkage freed up for the clutch and the brake because that was all sorts of sticky. New master cylinder and all lines run. I don't have the copper washers for my banjo, so that's not tight yet. But moving right along, I got brake lines all the way to the back. New brake hose, wheel cylinders. Yep, fun. I think it's got the world's longest muffler in a car. I think it's like 4 feet long. Someone did a really cool repair on it at some point. I don't like mufflers, so that's coming out. Parking brake cables are done. It's got this really funky U-joint. If you want to call that U-joint, it's more of a rubber cushion. Different. It's got this hole here, which I at first thought, well, what the heck? Then I seen what's left of this rubber. Now it's basically like hard fossilized rubber. But the rear end would probably poke through that hole. I'm pretty sure it does poke through that hole. So instead of making a metal plate with a bump in it like most cars, they just put a piece of rubber across it. If your rear end comes up that high, it's going to hit the bottom of the seat. It's probably going to push you up in the seat. It's different. Yeah, it's a Studebaker. What can you do? Alright, we can get out of here now. Gas tank, that's going to be an adventure for next week. I already know that's going to be a pain in the butt. Like I said, I need a hoist. Yeah, if anybody that's really paid attention here has probably figured out that, well, that's a Ford wheel cylinder, and you've probably seen that was a Ford master cylinder. Well, lucky for me, they are pretty much the same as a Ford. This is the antique stuff I took out of there that's just rotted tight. But they're the same dimensions. They got different fittings on this end, which I could care less about. And the only difference is that these pistons are perfectly smooth, whereas the Ford's got like a raised nipple and a slot for the brake shoes to lock into. So what I'm going to do, I already got it figured out, on the brake shoes, I'll measure from the piston to where the Fords are. I think it's going to be pretty much right here, where his line is. Cut that off. Radius it, that'll sit right into the Ford's wheel cylinders, and voila, dunnage. So that was cool because Studebaker wheel cylinders are very expensive, especially the master. And the oil pan, I cleaned all the sludge out of that. That was disgusting. But like usual, when you clean all the sludge out, there's a layer of rust on the inside, and it put a couple holes in it. So I sandblasted the heck out of it, welded up the couple holes, welded up the bung again once I took the solder out of it. I just did a quick layer of JB weld just for insurance, but the rest of the pan's in really good shape. Usually I cut this all out and put a new piece in, and It wasn't that rotten, so let's try this first. Hopefully that works. So yeah, that is the latest and the greatest on the Studebaker. So when more fun stuff comes up, I'll let you know. Later.